Happy Halloween, YouTube. We in the Monsters Inc. costume, and Halloween is even better because my Ravens just put BTA on the Dolphins last night. Pretty good dub. Now, it is the Dolphins, but we feeling good. Better than losing 44-10 for the Texans, that's for sure. But today, we are going to be talking about my top 5 Super Bowl contenders in both the AFC and the NFC. Now, I am super busy today, especially because it's Halloween, so I don't have much time to edit this video, so I'm going to try to do this mainly one take. I usually mess up a lot and have to do 60 million takes, but yeah, we're going to see how this goes. But starting off in the AFC, let's get right into it. At number 5, we have the Denver Broncos. Now, I was really big on this team going into the year. I have them winning the AFC West, and I did before the season. I think this team has a lot of potential because their offense is pretty solid. It's been doing well. The run game's been pretty good. But when you mix that with Bo Nix, who's been playing pretty solid in the past couple weeks, and a defense that could be one of the best in the NFL, maybe a little underwhelming this season, but it's still very, very good. That right there to me is a Super Bowl contender. Now, do I think they're more likely than the other 4 teams? Definitely not. I think there's a gap between the top 4 and then the Denver Broncos, but if I had to pick a team at the number 5 spot, I have to give it to the Broncos. Moving on to number 4, I have to go with the Ravens, and I don't really think this is biased. They have a lot of easy games coming up. They're probably easily going to win their division because nobody seems to be really good at all. So, to me, when they get into the playoffs, they're one of the more dangerous teams. I mean, you even look at last season, how they were moving the ball so much on the Bills, but because of 2 turnovers, they lost the game. If those 2 turnovers don't happen, the Ravens might have beat the Bills by a lot. So I feel like this team has a lot of potential, but the main thing, I didn't bring this up yet, the defense getting much better is the biggest factor because obviously the Ravens offense has been great all year, but the real problem has been that the defense has been one of the worst in the NFL, maybe the worst in the first couple weeks, but since the Rams game, it has been completely different. Gilman is a huge difference maker because he makes it so Hamilton can go all over the field. That trade was amazing by the Ravens. So yeah, I'm getting too hot in this. But anyway, I do believe the Ravens are a Super Bowl contender because of the fact that their defense is improving again, and the AFC isn't that strong as a whole. So who else am I really going to put above the Ravens? At number 3, we have the Bills. Now the Bills, their defense is concerning. They look good against the Panthers, but over the course of the season, they have not been good at all. And it's also the Panthers with, a backup quarterback in the game. So I think that they are a contender because they have Josh Allen, and James Cook is absolutely cooking. But I picked them to win the Super Bowl going into the year. I've been disappointed with them. I thought that they would be better. And they also haven't played the best teams. I still considered the Ravens a good team, and they won that game, which is nice. But outside of that, they haven't been great. So because of that, I have them at 3. Definitely still a Super Bowl contender, but I am disappointed in the way that they have started. And I think Bills fans are too. At number 2, we have the Indianapolis Colts. This might seem high to some people, but they have been cooking this year, And if Jonathan Taylor can play the way he's playing the rest of the year and going into the playoffs, they're going to be a hard team to stop. They have a great offensive line too. Danny Dimes is playing decent. The only thing about and the defense is good too. But the only thing about the Colts is every year there seems to be teams that play really well in the beginning of the season and even towards the end. And then in the postseason, they don't show up. It was the Vikings last year. It was the Ravens in 2019. It's just happened so many times in recent history. That's hard to feel like that isn't going to happen with the Colts. But, to be honest, the main reason they're still this high is because of the simple fact the AFC isn't that strong, like I was talking about with the Ravens. It's definitely a concern that could happen, that they could fall off towards the end of the year. I'm still going to have them at number 2 because they definitely have a case more than anybody below them. But at number 1, even though I don't have them winning their division, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's simply because they are the Chiefs. Let's just be honest. They always show up in the playoffs. They've been to 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls. So it just doesn't make sense to not have them be number 1. Would I be surprised if they did make it this year? Probably not. But out of all the teams here, they're definitely the team that is most likely to get to the Super Bowl. All right, moving on to the NFC. This was much harder than the AFC. There was a lot of teams that I wanted to include that just couldn't make the list. So it was pretty tough. But this is what I ended up going with. At number 5, we have the Buccaneers. Now, I am still really concerned about their defense. Their offense is obviously great, but their defense, man, it's been not good at all, especially when you look at their schedule and you see that every time they played a really good offense, they just couldn't do anything. But the reason I still have them here is because the fact that they have Todd Bowles and they have the personnel to be better. They should be a better defense than what they are. So this is purely just a projection that I think they will get better. If the defense doesn't get better, they're not a top 5 Super Bowl contender, but I trust that they will. They're also in an easy division. So I have them at number 5. At number 4, all of these 4 could be in the Super Bowl. I want to make that clear. Like, these are legit Super Bowl contender. All of these teams are, but specifically these 4 teams I'm about to talk about. Number 4, I have the Eagles. Obviously, they're the reigning champs, and Saquon looked amazing last week. If he could continue that, they might bump up, but it's just one game, so it's hard for me to just be all back into the Eagles. But when they get that run game going, their offense is basically unstoppable. And their defense is obviously still pretty good. They're not as good as last year, but they're still pretty solid. And they obviously have been great in the playoffs in recent history. So because of that, I have to put them at number 4. But I don't think they're quite ahead of the other 3 teams. Number 3, we have the Rams. I've been on the Rams since the beginning of the year. I told earlier in the video that I predicted the Bills to make the Super Bowl. I predicted the Rams to also make the Super Bowl. So I've been a big believer, and the fact is, I said it before the year, they are an extremely balanced team. A lot of people didn't see the vision with the defense. I did, and it's shown up this year. This defense has been great, so I expect that to continue throughout the season. Their offense looks even better recent times. They had that bad stretch where they lost to the Niners and the Eagles, but other than that, they've really been great the whole season. So I expect them to stay as good as they've been right now. And they obviously just have an amazing coach and a coach that's won a Super Bowl. So that really helps out a lot. And obviously a quarterback that's won a Super Bowl. So I have them at number 3. And I think that's a good spot for them. At number 2, we have the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are a hard one because they have had a weird year. They've won a lot of games. They have shown potential all the time, but they haven't been consistent. But I think that could start in this next stretch of games. They look amazing versus Pittsburgh, at least in the second half. So I'm going to trust that because their potential is so high, I think that I have to put them ahead of the Rams and Eagles. Now, I would understand, especially if you want to put the Rams ahead of them. But I think, if I'm being honest, I think the Packers' potential in the playoffs is just through the roof. They've also looked good in the playoffs recently. Like, they put up a good fight against the Eagles. They obviously had that game against the Cowboys, and they were 7th seed. So they're a team that knows how to show up in the playoffs. Because of that, too, I have them at number 2. Now, at number 1, I do have another NFC North team. It is the Detroit Lions. They're the most complete roster in the NFL. I trust Jared Goff a lot more than most people. They probably could have been in the Super Bowl last year if they weren't so banged up defensively. And I think that overall, this offense might be the best in the NFL. Not even might be. I believe it is the best in the NFL. But I would definitely understand if you had the Rams, the Packers, or the Eagles up there too. I mean, there's definitely a debate for all 4 of those teams. But what do you guys think about this list? I hope you guys all have a good Halloween. I'll be back to my normal editing style the next time I am posting. I will see all of you guys in the next video.